Republican Senator from South Dakota and member of the Armed Services Committee, Senator Mike Rounds, joins me. Good morning, Senator. And tell me, it's like, you know, if this is successful, this military action, it will change the whole Middle East and it will change the world. Will it not? This is a pivotal time in history if we can defang Iran where they don't have a nuclear weapon and we get a friendlier government in there, if that's possible.
I believe that you are correct. Thanks for the opportunity to visit. If Iran is neutralized, if we turn them into a nation that actually is looking at a future without nuclear weapons and without ballistic missiles that threaten their neighbors, the Middle East can become more peaceful. But in doing so, it also changes the outlook for the rest of the world, because then our focus and our defensive and offensive capabilities can be realigned. We want to be in a position to where we know where the threats are to the United States. If we can eliminate this particular threat and bring peace back into that region, this is a major step forward. And I think President Trump has understood that. I think the fact that, number one, he talked about North America and the defense for North America and not forgetting about our own country. And then second of all, starting now to work our way down the line of identifying those threats that clearly, have been there and that have not been addressed. This is a step in the right direction, and it will make for a more peaceful Middle East.
Were you briefed at all? I mean, I suppose the Gang of Eight was briefed or notified. I think they were notified right after it happened, but has there been any briefing for the Senate?
Not specifically to the operation itself. However, those of us that are on the Armed Services Committee and on the Intel Committee, we've been following this for literally more than a year in terms of what has been going on with their nuclear activities, their continued development of their ballistic missiles, the number that they've had available, the fact that they have been rebuilding the resources. And when we talk about the nuclear attack or the attacks that we were successful on in terms of basically taking out the facilities, but that still leaves the nuclear materials that are buried deep underground. They were trying to get that back. I mean, there is no question but that they had no intentions of giving up their nuclear bomb desires. There's no question in my mind about that at all. And so now it was just a matter of how long we could go with trying to have diplomatic approaches to end this threat. And very clearly, they did not have an interest in doing that.
Well, this is such a profoundly different military operation than Venezuela. In Venezuela, there was someone, after Maduro was taken back to the United States to answer indictment, is that there was somebody else, a vice president, who the United States apparently can have some sort of conversation with. This is, which will help perhaps stabilize Venezuela, assuming that works out. This is that we're taking out all their leadership, and once they're gone, I mean, who's to take over? I mean, not that it's really necessarily the U.S. business, but we do want some sort of, we want stability there.
You are correct that with Maduro, it was a law enforcement operation, but it was backed by the U.S. military very successfully. In this particular case, in Iran, it is also correct that this is not the same thing as what occurred in South America. What happens here is after literally years of negotiations and in trying to get them to release and to stop trying to build their nuclear facilities and their nuclear weapons, and also the weapons delivery systems that would eventually threaten us and our partners in Europe and around the Middle East, it became very apparent that they were just simply playing us along. And at that stage of the game, it's a matter of when and at what point do you address this continuing threat? So, yeah, you are correct. It is different. Now we have a case of where the regime has basically lost their top leadership for the most part. There are some individuals there. There's a pragmatist there that right now is claiming control. We don't know if that's actually going to happen or not. But nonetheless, the people of Iran have an opportunity once again to reclaim, just as the president indicated. It's up to them to decide, and then we'll respond based upon what the Iranian response is to having this loss of authority for this evil dictatorship.
Well, it certainly is fascinating. It's not like President Trump didn't warn them. They had 7 or 8 meetings, indirect meetings between the United States and Iran. They didn't take the opportunity to get rid of the nuclear weapons. I guess they thought if they prolonged the talks that this just would go on forever. But President Trump, he means what he says, and when the clock is up and he's had enough, and the time is apparently the right time, he acts. So they certainly have learned that, as well as the rest of the world has learned that, and actually seen that with President Trump. He doesn't just draw red lines and not do anything. Senator Mike Rounds, thank you, sir.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.